Hello everyone, TLSG here, back again with another daily Marvel Snap video. So today we have the junk deck coming back, and I tried a couple of different ways to refine this. I know a couple of people recommended like a Hazmat and a Luke Cage in the build, but it just felt like it was lower tempo than what it should be in most cases. Every once in a while you can get some value out of the Hazmat, but a lot of times it felt clunkier than it did good. And so we're bringing back the original evil junk deck list. And I have been stealing cubes left and right. So a lot of where we're at in the meta is people are running decks that kind of mitigate their high power plays, but they instead spread out medium powerful plays. They're looking to do some Shang-Chi swings, some Miles Morales Polaris movement style components, and this deck lets us kind of counter a lot of that. Galactus, we have several ways to counter the Galactus playline. Shuri can be a little bit difficult if you don't get a lane capped out early, but otherwise we do have the Shang-Chi if they're unprotected. So if they're running something like the Arnim Zola or Taskmaster, if we can force one lane into being capped out, a lot of times we can swing the other with our Shang-Chi. And really any other meta deck that I faced, Thanos, especially when they're not running the Killmonger, which a lot of lists for Thanos have gotten away from that. If they're not running Killmonger, a lot of times you're just going to overwhelm Thanos because he's going to be playing so many cards so frequently that he just runs out of room before he can do his big payoff plays. And so overall in this meta that's kind of up and down, I have been having the most fun with this list. Now it may not be as strong as just a raw Shuri power push or as consistent as a Thanos rotation deck, both of which are probably in the top tier, but this one can hold its own against just about anything that I've seen. And for me, this archetype is incredibly fun to play, and so this is what I have more fun climbing with. And so if you watched the last junk deck video, this is a replica, but it's just such a fun build, and I wanted to let you guys know that I did test out the other alternatives, and they just don't feel quite as solid as this one does. I think this one is in a really good spot, unless you're going up against Death Wave, and those are going to be easy one-cube retreats once you identify the Yondu and the potential Killmonger. It's easy to retreat out for one, and then just rinse and repeat and jump into a matchup that's better suited for you. And so with the deck explanation out of the way, we're going to go ahead and jump over into a couple of games. I hope you guys enjoy. Next up we have SJ. The first location is Shadowland. So we could either double up on the negative cards there. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We have, I don't know. We have nothing to lose. If we get Viper at some point, great. If not, then that's probably our lost lane. We get Mojo, which is good for us. The middle location, the Lechugia, is not great for us. I'm just going to play our Sunspot and let him absorb some energy. We still don't know what the opponent is running. They run an armor, so they were thinking we were using some kind of destruction deck, some kind of Death Wave, which I've heard is common, but I haven't seen it played very often. And so they used armor to protect these cards, but that's actually going to lock them in as well. I'm just going to skip here. We don't have a fantastic line on any kind of direct play, so I'm just going to skip here, let Sunspot absorb some energy while we get a better read on the opponent. All right, so they do 0 into the Shadowland. So I'm wondering if maybe, no, if we do 2 cards to send them something over there, it does clog their board, but it doesn't do us much good otherwise. Then it'll bounce, and then it'll bounce right back. Or I guess it caps them out. We could guarantee something like a Mojo could go off. And then next turn we can do Doc Ock into Jotunheim, and then we just do something like a Demon and a Gamora somewhere else. I actually like that kind of play line. Are we confident enough that we snap into it though? Why not? We're going to go ahead and snap into it. They could play into Shadowland this turn. That would kind of kink our plans a little bit, which would be fine. I think we could still overcome it. We have a pretty decent play line overall. The Doc Ock is going to have incredible value in Jotunheim. And so they do play into the Lechugia. So I don't know if they're going with a Shuri ramp and they just missed the Shuri part, if they're planning on doing an Arnim Zola on the last turn to move their Typhoid Mary. But now their left lane is completely capped out. And to overcome it, we have 6 more power in our Mojo whenever we play another card there. So we're going to have a positive 4. So we have to overcome 5, which is very, very doable. All we have to do is play the Demon, and we are golden. Let's go ahead and do the Doc Ock pool, and this should be a fairly easy game. The only downside is that this deck, it looks like they're running some very, very big cards. But we have our Shang-Chi, so there comes the Shuri and the Arnim Zola. Whoa, whatever they play next turn is going to be massive. This is actually scary. This is actually so very scary. Oh no. Well, um, that didn't turn it didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. They could have an... Did they top deck an arrow? It is all dependent and reliant on whatever they top decked here. If they do an arrow, then we lose. The Shang-Chi should allow us to win this lane. We can win the far left lane with just our demon. And we're currently winning in Jotunheim. So if they play their last card over there to swing that location, then we're fine, unless it is an arrow. If they top decked an arrow, they top decked a Taskmaster, that's fine. They did have several rocks in their deck. They had 6 rocks, 6 potential chances to draw into nothing. Did they? Did they draw the arrow that they need? The only thing that I think could win this game for them, did they draw it? Let's find out. So we play the demon, we play the Shang-Chi, they play the, the massive lizard, but we have our Shang-Chi value. That's going to win us the Lechugia, and we are going to swing the left lane with our demon. We had to work for those 8 cubes. That was a scary 8. You might even call it a crazy 8. We are going to take our 8 cubes. That feels good. That one feels good. We will take the 8 cubes. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Teebs, and they lose their vision. We lose our debris, which does hurt, but I think it's fine overall. The mirror dimension could force us into discarding another one of our cards on turn 4, which is not great. We're gonna skip. We're gonna see what this last location is, get a little bit better feel of what they're running, and then we can kind of go from there. So this last location turns into so it turns into Kamar Taj. So we could do a hood. And that's going to double trigger. They had the vision, so are they running a Doctor Doom? If they're running a Doctor Doom, they can double trigger it and go wide. We can double trigger our Gamora. But if we get we discarded our debris, so we can't get debris to clog their board. We could do the Doc Ock to force them into having Kamar Taj completely capped out. Gamora could help us. We're going to do the hood here. That's going to give us a double trigger, and we're just going to fly with it. Ooh, so... So they play an Electro, so they're doing a massive ramp. I don't think they're running Galactus. That is not my fear here. My fear here is that they have like a Doctor Doom and they can just do some massive powerful plays. But we do have a lot of value in our demons. We're going to go ahead and send them 1 card into Kamar Taj. Viper would trigger twice, but I don't really have another target for it. We're going to go ahead and play 1 demon into the middle location. We have Doc Ock that can force them into a really inopportune play line. And they do the... Wow, what in the world is going on here, Teebs? So they're going to have a lot of energy. Not necessarily a lot of flexibility. So the Scorpion's going to trigger 3 more times here. Oh... Okay, so the Scorpion triggers 3 more times here. They could always do an Odin onto the Arnim Zola, and then it could re-trigger all of these cards again. They have so much energy now. I honestly have no idea how much energy they have at their disposal. Green Goblin could send over in Sokovia. We sent out all of our 1-cost cards. We could do the Titania in the Green Goblin and force this lane into being fully capped out. We could do Polaris to pull over 2 cards, the Hood and the Scorpion, into this lane. That's going to force this one into being completely capped out. We could also do the Doc Ock, but since they ramped up, I assume they have some really powerful late game plays. You have the 1-power Polaris, goodness. The 3-power Gamora, the 6-power Doc Ock. This is abysmal. We are going to save our Titania and our Gamora for the last turn, and so we're not going to optimally use our energy here, but hopefully we can find a way to make it work. So the Heimdall, the double shift Heimdall. Teebs, what are you running? So the left lane has the 8-power Sokovia, the Scorpion, the Electro in it. The middle location has the 6. Oh my gosh, what are we running here? I can't beat the 8-power in Sokovia. Sadly enough, there's nothing I can do to beat that. What in the world? The 1-power Titania is awful. We have initiative here? Are they giving up the far right lane is what I'm wondering. Oh man. Okay, we're going to send the Gamora. If they play into the middle location, then we get the double trigger, so that's going to give us an extra 10 power on it. What an awful game. Teebs, you are so mean. So they do play into Camartage. Is it like the Doctor Doom? If so, we can tie that. No, it is the Chavez, and so we do find a way to come out on top. You had us on our toes the entire match with all of that randomness, but we will gladly take it. We will take our 4 cubes. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Ocean Mud, and the first location is the Superflow, so we'll get additional energy each turn. And they won't quite get additional energy each turn because we're going to send them the Green Goblin over here. I do like the Green Goblin with Titania, but I don't know. Maybe we don't go with that route, and instead we go with something like the Viper to send them the Ninja. And then on the next turn, we go with the Titania and Green Goblin to surprise them into having the Shadowland completely capped out. I kind of like that idea a little bit better. The Superflow is great. The Superflow is great at blocking them, making sure they don't have enough energy. I kind of like this idea a little bit better. They're going to go Green Goblin instead. Okay, so we won't get the additional energy. They will. That's perfectly fine. We now have a little bit of advantage over them. We can do the debris. They get 1 additional turn of having that extra energy, but from there, we're going to be able to take away their extra energy as well. We can force this lane into being capped out. We just get a lot of value that I don't know that they realize is going to be on its way. So we have initiative here. Do we ever go with the 50-50 flip? I kind of like the idea of going with a 50-50 flip. If we pull Hood, I assume that they're going to play Viper. If we play Hood, if we pull Hood with the Polaris, that loses them the Shadowland. If we pull the Rock out of the Superflow, I think that still loses them the Shadowland. Actually, I think I'm okay with that. The other play line would be the Polaris and the Titania to try to cap out another location, but I like this a little bit better. Oh, so they do 2 cards here. They do the Debris into the far right lane. And what is this last card? It's the Demon. We're actually capped out of the left lane. Oh, man. Okay. This could be something. This could be something, all right. We can cap out their Shuri's Lab lane. They didn't go with the Viper that I thought they were going to. Hopefully they play over into the Superflow this turn, and we can surprise cap them in the Shuri's Lab. Now, I know I played against Ocean Mud a little bit earlier. I know that they're going with a Luke Cage and Hazmat version. I don't necessarily care for the Luke Cage or Hazmat playline myself. But yeah, so we are going to be able to force out their Shuri's Lab lane. Let's see if we still have a shot here. So the Polaris doesn't have anything to pull. The Hazmat comes down. If they have Luke Cage now, can they win with the Luke Cage? Luke Cage would give them 4 extra power here. And we're going to win in this lane. It gives them some extra power here and here, but we just win, I think, every single time. They don't have a Sunspot on the board. I think we're just okay. I think we're just in a great spot. Do we even play anything? I mean, we can play Gamora, or do we just let this one absorb some extra energy? We'll just go ahead and skip. Okay, yep, there comes the retreat. We will go ahead and gladly take it. Hazmat feels too low tempo for me in most games, and so I don't like that version. I like this version a little bit better, where you just aim to push good value out onto the board. We will take the 2 cubes. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Cool Bird. The first location is the Hellfire Club. So cards that cost 1 are not going to be able to be played there. So our Hood, Sunspot, Titania all become very difficult to play into that location. Ooh, they discard their Arrow, which is fantastic. We discard our Shang-Chi, which is not as fantastic, but I still think it's okay. We don't have anything to benefit from our Viper with, so we're just going to hold it for now. We get our Sunspot on this draw. We can do a Debris. Go ahead and do Debris into Sokovia, just to clog up their board a little bit. And then we'll kind of go from there. We could have done Debris over into Hellfire Club, but I don't feel like we necessarily needed to. Let's go with the Green Goblin into middle. We're going to go with the Green Goblin into the far right lane. I don't think they play into middle this turn. If they play anywhere, I think it would be left or right. So we're going to do the Green Goblin, and now they are starting to get a little bit restricted. We can always do a Polaris to try to pull one of the cards over. We're going to do Titania and Polaris. That will send at least 1 card. We'll pull at least 1 card. And then that's going to, or will, or should. Ooh, wow, the abomination. What? I'm so confused. I have never seen abomination outside of a straight Patriot deck, and that does not look like what this is. What? So we ended up getting the retreat. I was very hesitant. We were just going to absorb 4 extra energy with our Sunspot. I don't know what's going on there, cool bird, but we will take the 1 cube. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Wild Pants. The first location is Project Pegasus. So we don't have like a Doc Ock or really anything that's just going to give us insane value that we want to flood a lot of cards onto the board. So maybe we just do a Gamora and hope that they play over into the left, and we get some decent value that way. So they play a She-Hulk. We actually outpower their She-Hulk with our Gamora. If we draw into our Shang-Chi, we get some value that way. And the Polaris doesn't give us insane value either. I'm going to go ahead and play just Mojo into the far right lane. Next turn, we can start looking to cap out their locations, potentially. Something like a Green Goblin. So the Sunspot coming down in the left lane will give them some additional reach. We can always pull it over into a lane. We have our Green Goblin pulled in. I wonder what they get pulled here. If it's something, the Ebony Maw is unfortunate for them. Very, very unfortunate. We're going to go ahead and play Debris into the Sakaar location. That's almost snap-worthy because now they can't push anything here unless they have something like a Dr. Doom, a White Tiger, or something that can just go wide. They're not going to be able to push anything here. I guess they could do an Arnim Zola to push power around. They do cap out the far left lane early, which is interesting. I guess maybe they saw the Green Goblin and maybe assumed that it was coming. The Project Pegasus lane is becoming more and more difficult to win. We do have 2 more chances out of 5 cards in our deck to pull our Shang-Chi. We could try to maybe cap out their lane. We're going to use a Viper. We're going to play Titania. Had they played even 1 card, it would have forced the Vibranium Mines into being capped out, but they don't. We don't get that lucky. So we took a shot, and we missed. We definitely missed. We could do Polaris to try to pull one of their key cards out. I am going to do our Sunspot, and then we're going to skip. They have the massive Sunspot lane. Like, there's just, I don't think there's any overcoming it. The Red Skull into middle is big as well. But now that lane is capped out. They can't play on this turn, and so we get some insane value. We could either do the Shang-Chi into the She-Hulk to help us swing this lane, or we can do the Shang-Chi into the Red Skull, and then that will bounce Titania back onto our side of the board. And so that is what we're going to go with. Let's see if they stick it out. We're not going to snap because if we snap, I think they will retreat. And so we're going to try to squeeze the 1 additional cube here. And so Titania will come back onto our side. She is the boomerang that is just phenomenal value. And with that one, we are going to end the video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Our face is hidden a little bit. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. This junk deck is just one of my favorites. It is one that I play when I'm looking to both climb and just have fun. For whatever reason, this archetype is just incredibly satisfying to me. So if you liked it, make sure to leave it a like and a comment down below. As always, this has been TLSG. Later, guys.